can, or you don't have to be. I mean, I always like you a part of everything, but oh shoot.
Oh.
I forgot to check the Wi-Fi after I pressed the button. What up? This is the day, y'all. This is the day! What you gonna do?
There's nowhere to sit.
Yes, there is. That's why I'm sitting like this. How's it going, everybody? Happy Father's Day. Thank you. Thank you. Happy Father's Day to me and Thor. Appreciate it. Thor and I appreciate all your good wishes. Hey, Perline. Hey, Lynn, Lewis, Lexi, Emily, Corey, D. Reed, Lily, Coco. Whoa, I can't read them this fast. Luke, Brenda. Hello, everyone. It's a big day. We got all these announcements to do. Oh, it's easier to read if I put my glasses on. My old man, I suck. Luna, what are you doing? What is? Woo! So much to announce today, y'all. So much to announce. I even have a list. Michelle, the governor, would be happy that I actually made a list so that I can keep up with what I'm supposed to be talking about. Okay? Is Michelle here? Because the governor would be very excited about me putting this list together. I feel like it's appropriate to play this song too. No, not with an ad. Dadgummit. I don't think this is what I thought it was. That's not the song I thought. That's right. Isn't that bad your game? Even Annie's head bobbing. I know. Is that approved music? That's just a clip. That's just a clip. You can play clips, okay? Nobody ever said clips are approved. Okay, so yeah, we don't want to get bananaed while we're in the middle of it. Okay. So we have a lot of people on, so we can get rolling on. Oh my word, the 50% alive goal. Massive celebrations today, y'all. Okay, so is the governor here? Are you on the live? Oh, our texts aren't even going through to the governor. We're doing the announcement and you're not here. Gotta get the governor in the chat, please. What time is it? Okay, it's 5:19. So, we'll give her, another 60 seconds to see if she gets here, but our guest speaker, we have a guest speaker today who will join us in the live, can only be here for a little bit because she's actually heading to a company dinner. So, we gotta, thank you for all of those confettis. So we gotta get moving pretty quickly to get all of our announcements through. You guys are gonna be blown away. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of pre-thank everybody in the back end. There has been a lot of work done that, a lot of people. Thanks for all these gifts that people have not been able to see. And what we wanted to do is not only announce our feed sponsorship, but be able to announce a lot of things that are for the community. There's a lot of you put so much into the ranch that we wanted to really be able to thank you all for what you do. Where it's not monetary. It's not about sharing lives or liking videos or donating for treats or saving horses at auctions, which is amazing how much you all do for all that kind of thing. But this is a lot of what we're going to be able to announce today is for everybody in the community to be able to enjoy. And so, these are big things that we've been working on. There's a lot of people behind the scenes that have been helping to create things, that have been getting ready for all of this kind of stuff. So, like I said, hopefully Michelle will join here in a minute. But first things first, we are going to announce the feed sponsorship. And everybody has seen how well our horses have done on the feed over the last probably 45 days to 60 days. And I want to start off with why a feed sponsorship is so important to me. Let's get this camera fixed so that it's not, so that you guys can actually read everything. Okay, so I've got this book. My wife creates all these memory books for us over the years. And if you want to see young Stephen and our young family, this is Annie and I slightly after we got married. And here's baby Brittany and little Brandon here. But the reason feed is so important to me is I had my dog that before Annie and I got married. His name was Ben. And what I want to do is show you a picture of Ben. This is a picture of Ben and I on the couch back in those days. He was a white German Shepherd, and there he is if you guys can see him. And, even if you're wondering why are we showing a picture of a dog? So a lot of you, I don't know how many of you know, but German Shepherds get joint problems as they age. It's a common problem. But I had no idea about feed and exercise. I just didn't know a lot back then about any of that kind of stuff. So Ben threw his back out one day going up the stairs as he aged. And so in his vertebrae, he actually slipped a disc and it was constantly swollen. And so his back legs were numb for the last probably 3 years of his life. He had a hard time moving his back legs because we could give him an anti-inflammatory like ibuprofen and it'd get better because it'd take some of the swelling down around his disc. And so I had learned that he got too overweight. And I had just grown up, feeding dogs however much food they wanted. And so after Ben passed away and we got new dogs several years ago, I got obsessed with food. With animals and how much they get and what's in food and so much stuff, right? And so one of the big things when I got into this program, and I had been thinking about this over the last, since we got horses, but over the last couple of years, is I really wanted to change our equine feed program. And so I was just, we had a really big brand name food, and and they're constantly in the news for doing crazy stuff inside their feeds and etc. And I noticed little bitty things like my feed bags would have corn in it, and I was like, that's weird. There's not even supposed to be corn in this feed bag, and just a bunch of silliness, right? And so when I got a call from our new feed sponsor, it couldn't have been a more perfect fit, because I was looking for someone just like them, and not because of being sponsored or what we get from them or etc., but because I was really looking for a good new program. And so it just, things work out, right? And we started talking, and so this all got kicked off. She sent us our first month's supply. She's already sent us our next one, and my horses, as you guys have seen, look amazing. And feed is so important to me that it could not be more perfect that the very first sponsor for Heartmash Ranch is feed. And so I'm beside myself excited about what we're going to be able to do with this. And there's so much to announce. And so she's going to be joining us today as soon as I make this announcement right now. But it's been a while, and I know you all are super excited about seeing who the company is. This is the very first announcement from today. If you drop after this, you're going to miss so much after this, because there's announcements throughout this entire live. So today, right here, I have it. This is the company is under here, and what I'd like to announce is that the way we put this together is they have a program where they have a consultation for the food. And so you're going to see bags that may have names on it that have to do with younger horses or older horses, but really it's about the content that's in the bags, okay? It's about what's in the feed. And so when she talked to me, I was actually kind of surprised. She's like, based on what your goals are for your horse program, I'm actually going to recommend these two feeds from our program. And so that's why we have the feed we do, and why we're feeding the feed we are. And so here we go. Finally, without further ado, it's been a while and we are ready to go. So the big announcement today is Heartmash Ranch's feed sponsorship is High Gain Feeds. Woo-hoo! And I don't know if you've heard of them before, but High Gain is a company that I had not heard about until she called me. And the more I learned about them, the more I absolutely love this food. So our older horses, she made the suggestion to put, and I'll let her talk through this in a minute. She made the suggestion to put our older horses on what they call their True Care formula. And True Care, you want me to get a little bit closer? Yeah, so the True Care formula has different things. So this is what Sparrow and Sadie have been on. So Sparrow's body condition has improved because of this, and you can actually see it's got a lot about body condition in it. But there's a lot of stuff that has to do with our older horses, is why she put them on this. And then the rest of our horses are on what's called Grow Torque, and this is that really good feed that you guys saw. It's really made, what they say is for weanlings and yearlings, but based on what's actually in the feed is why we put this on all of our other horses. And so, yeah, it doesn't contain... let's just let her talk. So we're going to introduce our guest speaker for the day, and you guys have all seen her in the lives. It's actually Lexi. Let me see how... I want to add a get... Wait. Yes. So we want to do this like this. Invite. I have sent because she is at a conference for her company. There she is. Hi, Lexi.
Hello, how are you?
Really good. And so what we'll do is Lexi's here, and I'm just going to let her introduce High Gain Feeds, and then maybe a little bit, one of the things, if you could talk about why you put our horses on these specific ones. But
Right.
I'll let you first talk about High Gain. Who are you guys? Where did you come from? That kind of thing.
So, High Gain, actually, we have been in business in the feed business since 1983, but we made our way over to America in the US market in 2018. We're an Australian-based feed company. One reason why I love High Gain so much is because laws here in the US are a lot more lenient as far as what ingredients are allowed to go into horse feed. Whether that's on the feed side or the supplement side, we kind of let horse owners get away with murder as far as what they're allowing to put in those horses' bodies. In Australia, things are a lot more strict. And so when we came over to the United States, a big piece of it for us was just making sure that we were sticking to the way that we did things in Australia, but also adapting to certain changes that would help us to be successful in the US market. So, yeah, Bailey said it perfectly. The FDA laws here are crazy. There's things that horses on the track get away with. There's things that horses in the show pen get away with. In Australia, they just don't allow certain things. There are things that you can put your horses on here, and you may not be able to show your horses, but they're allowed to be on it. To me, that's a red flag. And so with High Gain, that's just something that we eliminated altogether because it was important to us and just making sure that, we were just giving the horses exactly what they needed and nothing extra, nothing that was going to take the longevity out of them or their performance out of them or anything like that. So that's kind of the gist of High Gain, I guess. As far as the feed line goes, so there's 4 different lines that we have, and within those lines, there's 3 different products. Some of them are interchangeable as far as they overlap across the different lines. But for the most part, there's 3 feeds within each category. So for Steven and his horses out at the ranch, obviously big breeding program, lots of horses that are going through those growing stages. And so we wanted to kind of hone in on that growing line and also have something that would cater to those brood mares. To me, a growing horse is anything under the age of 4. And the great thing about High Gain is when we, like a feed like Grow Torque, people see the name and they get very weirded out by it because they think that once my horse gets to a certain age, I need to switch to a different type of grain. So these feeds are designed to be fed to horses of all life stages, which is great. But sometimes, people in the market that don't talk to a representative or talk to somebody that works for the feed company, they don't understand that. So we have to label accordingly. So that's where Grow Torque kind of got the name. But really and truly, the thing that sets Grow Torque apart from some of our other performance feeds is that the vitamin and mineral package is just more catered to those growing horses and those, those brood mares and those babies. It is very similar to other feeds that we have in other lines, but that vitamin and mineral package kind of caters to those horses that are going through those growing stages. So True Care is actually within our performance line, but it is a senior feed. I saw someone comment a second ago about the glucosamine in it. So it does have glucosamine added in it. I like it because it's an extruded feed. One thing that's really great about True Care is because it's extruded, you're able to feed a lot more of it. So sometimes those horses that need to improve body condition, some of our other products, our feeding rates are really, really low, so we can't put condition on them as quickly. So like Steven was saying with Sparrow, we noticed a really abrupt change, and it wasn't because we were feeding her a ton of grain, but it was just a feed that she was able to digest better and get more benefit out of, in a smaller amount. So,
you talked about that a little bit. One of the things that stuck with me is how you talked about how the horses' bodies, based on what you guys put in this, they're able to absorb more of it, right? Instead of the feed just kind of getting stuck in their gut and they're really not taking in all of it or digesting all of it and taking in all those nutrients, your feed's designed for, they process 100% of that feed.
Yeah, so I see a bunch of questions rolling through, Stephen, and it's distracting me.
Yeah, okay.
But somebody asked if we sell dog food. We are a horse feed only company. So that is one thing that's really great about our company. Another thing that Stephen really struggled with switching to a new feed is one, is it a brand that's just catering to horses? Because when you start going in all these different directions, it's how can you be the best at everything? There are companies that are really great at a lot of different things, but we have just figured out that horse feed is our bread and butter. So I'm sure everybody's saying Australia, so I'm they're probably expecting someone with an Australian accent, and I'm sorry to disappoint. I'm from Texas, so I don't have that cool accent, but yeah, so we stuck to horse feed. That was just what we felt comfortable doing, and that's what we've done for years. So I don't see us venturing out into other things. But the process that Steven's talking about. So when horse feed, for those of you who know anything about horse nutrition, you know that horses aren't really designed to eat grain. That's something that humans have implemented into their diet. Horses survived for years on just grass, and they did really, really well. And so, as we started asking a little bit more of these horses, just like when you ask something more of your body and you start, going through an exercise regimen, or you're an athlete or anything like that, then you have to have calories that are going to, cater to that. And sometimes forage only just doesn't work. And so we started feeding horses grain. And for a long time, it was whole oats or corn or, just something super crazy, super simple, but things that we've kind of stepped away from. So then as we learned more about equine nutrition, we realized that there's different processes that we can use to help it be more digestible for the horse. So horses' bodies are designed to digest forage. So when we throw these grains into the diet, how are we supposed to expect them to be able to digest those easily? So as research started to come out, there was crimping and steamrolling and flaking, and all of those processes were in the name of making the grain more digestible for the horse. So crimping, steamrolling, flaking, those increase digestibility by about 30%. Then years ago, a process called extrusion came out, which is why the TrueCare looks like catfish food or dog food. A lot of people say it looks like dog food. That extrusion process gives it that look. And so when that process came out, it increased digestibility by about 50%. And then High Gain actually uses a process that no other feed company in the U.S. market currently uses, and it's called micronization, and it increases digestibility by up to 95%. And it not only does that at the hindgut level or the large intestine, but it does it at the small intestinal level, which is great because a lot of times you hear people talk about my horse colics on grain. And that's because all that grain is going through the small intestine and the horses aren't able to digest that quickly. And so it gets in the hindgut and it impacts, and then they have an impaction colic. And so with this micronization process, basically what it does is it goes on a conveyor belt under infrared technology. It gelatinizes the starch and sugar, and it opens up that grain to be more water soluble. So as soon as it hits the horse's mouth, it's going through a quicker digestion process. And so what that means for High Gain in particular is, one, you're getting earlier digestion, you're getting quicker digestion, and you're not having as much grain sitting in the hindgut. Another thing that means is a lot of times, because the horses can't digest all of that grain that's sitting in the hindgut and you're feeding a lot of it, it's just sitting back there. And you expect your horses to improve and look better because I'm feeding them so much more, so they should look better. And because they're not able to digest. So horses actually can't digest more than 10 pounds of grain a day. So if that's sitting in the hindgut, it's literally just feeding your manure pile, it's feeding your pasture. And so with the micronization process, because they're able to digest that earlier on, you're able to feed a lot less because they're able to, get that increased digestion at an earlier stage. At Hot Mess Ranch, obviously, they were able to back off the amount of grain that they were feeding. And I think when I told Steven the feeding rates on High Gain, he was like, wait a second, are you sure? Running average in America is usually about 6 to 8 pounds a day. So when I said, we feed about 2 to 4 pounds of High Gain, depending on the product and depending on the horse, people were like, a day or per feeding? It's just not heard of. And so that's a big change. A lot of people look at our website and they see, oh my God, these protein levels are so high. Well, because if you were feeding 6 to 8 pounds of a 14% or a 16% pellet, that protein level sounds normal. But if you're feeding only 2 pounds or 3 pounds of a 24% protein, that's why the protein levels are so much higher. So there's a lot of misunderstanding, and that's basically what my job has been up to this point, is just clearing the air on a lot of things because this is so outside of the norm for the U.S. market.
Yeah, so if you've seen Sparrow and how good Sparrow's looking, we actually feed her less grain now than we used to, and she looks like this. So that's a pretty big deal. So the next thing, I had I don't know if you heard me, but one of the big shocking things for me with one of those big name brands is that I kept seeing other ingredients showing up in my food. And so it was honestly kind of irritating to see and hear horses, colicking when they're eating the same feed all the time, which at the time didn't make any sense to me until it might have been you or somebody else said, go look at the labels on the bags, and they're actually, it's the same food bag from two different stores, but the ingredients in it were slightly different on percentages. And I was like, what the crap? So it's almost like you were feeding your horse a different food every single time you were feeding them. And that's why they all had all these horses colicking. So one thing that you talked to me about was your actual process and your feed centers, right? Like everything is the same. And not only the feed centers are clean, and you were just impressed when you started working there about how much better they were at making sure that, you know, what was coming through that conveyor and that feed thing was the exact same stuff every time. And why. Anyways, I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, so our mill is amazing. We're working on doing a promotional video that talks about our mills and why things are set up the way that they are. I've worked for other feed companies in the past, and so this was very foreign to me, kind of stepping into something different. Again, this is all over in Australia, so take that however you want to take it. Some people take it the wrong way, and they say, oh, you're shipping feed over from another country. Like, you know, how do we know that the feed is good quality? How do we know that it meets regulations? All of those things. So there's definitely some downsides to that conversation, but I've been in a lot of mills in the US, and one thing that I will say is that it is not uncommon to walk into a space and be like, oh my God, I can't believe that they make my horses feed here. This is not, you know, cleanliness is not up to par. Just there's different standards that they abide by that we just can't get away with in Australia. And when I tell you, and this is going to sound really weird, but I told my boss the first time I saw the Australian mill that I would lick the floors. Like, it is the cleanest facility that I've ever stepped into as far as feed goes. And our mills are actually split into two different, we have two separate mills. One of them is responsible for the extruded feeds and the pelleted feeds, and then the other one just does textured feeds. So there's certain ingredients that we use in certain feeds that, like Steven was saying at the very beginning, he would open up a bag of feed and it would have corn sitting in the top, and he's like, this horse feed is not supposed to have corn. That's something that you see from facilities that either mill multiple feeds, and they don't clean their bins before they pass another grain through, or, you know, they mill different species. So you'll see, you know, there's been issues with toxicity in different horse feeds. Like you can Google the lawsuits about cattle, you know, cattle feed allows rumensin in it and stuff like that. And horses cannot have that at all. And so just the cleanliness is, you know, an issue for sure. But with the high gain process, the way that it works basically is we have locked formulas. So that's one thing that I always encourage people. If it's really important, maybe you have a horse that's super sensitive as far as their digestive system goes, so they're sensitive to colic or something like that. Maybe you have a horse that you're just, you know, nutrition is super important to you, just like it is with Steven. Or maybe you don't have any issues at all, but you're just interested in learning more about your specific feed company. And I do want to say this because I know, you know, you hear a representative from a feed company talk, and of course they're going to be like, I'm supposed to be Team High Gain. That's my job, right? Like, they pay me to be Team High Gain. I will say that if you don't feed High Gain, regardless of what you feed, there is a great and a winning product at every company that is going to work for your horse. It's just a matter of finding the right one. And so when Steven and I had this conversation, like he said, he was unhappy with what he was doing previously. So it was a great window of opportunity for me to kind of move in and say, hey, this is what we do that sets us apart. But I don't want anybody to think that like this feed company is superior. There are things that are different about us, but that doesn't mean that what you're currently feeding doesn't work for you and your horses and that it's a bad feed, because that's definitely not the case. But our trucks come in, we single source ingredients, we have locked formulas. So that means, you know, what Steven was trying to explain is there's certain brands where if I go rip off a feed tag at my local feed store, and Steven lives about 2 hours away from me, if he goes and rips off the same feed tag, off the same bag at his local retailer, it may read completely different. And that just means that that company doesn't have a locked formula. So their ingredients, maybe they do have alfalfa in the feed, and they do have soybean meal in the feed, and they do have, you know, canola oil in the feed, but it may be at different levels. So those ingredients may be in different orders. Just like if you go and buy any other feed, you know, or food for yourself, the ingredient list is going to tell you what is in there in the highest amounts, and that's going to be first. There are certain companies that don't have locked formulas, so they don't stick to, you know, that first ingredient always being the same. When you pull off a tag of High Gain, the first ingredient is always going to be the exact same. And so our trucks come in, we have semis, we have a robot that goes down into different levels of the semi and pulls the ingredients, and all of those go under a microscope and go through testing before the truck is even allowed to offload at the mill. And then it goes through the entire milling process. And we don't shut down our mill in the middle of bagging something. We don't, send one feed through and then not clean our systems and then send another feed through. Everything is on a really strict timeline and a strict schedule. So if grow torque is on the schedule at the textured mill for that day, then we're going to, mill all of the grow torque that we need to mill to meet our quotas. And then we'll clean the machines, and then we'll do show torque, or we'll do senior or something like that. And so just having that peace of mind that, you're getting a clean feed, and you're going to get the same thing every single time, regardless of if you buy a bag in Texas or you buy a bag in California, you're going to have the exact same ingredients. So, people that are on the road showing, maybe you move and you're stressed out about making sure you have grain, that's really just not an issue with us. So it's something that I really like too.
Okay. So Lexi and I nerd out about food talk all the time and the science behind this. So she can nerd out for a long time on this. And the best way to do that is one of the next big things that we're going to talk about. And she's got to get going. So we got to start letting her get moving. But we're going to be putting all this information live on our website following this live right here. I've already got it queued up over here, and I'm going to go hit publish. And all the new stuff that we're going to talk about today is going to be live. One of the things is going to be, where can you find this feed? Hygain is also working on a creator code for us that you can use. I think it's if you buy through Hygain, but this way you can buy it online. There's several sources to buy it online. If you don't have a distributor close to you, there'll be a link I'm gonna provide on my website where you'll be able to actually click and find your closest retailer for where Hygain's located. So one of the big things I'm going to talk about right before we let her go is, not only have we announced the feed sponsorship, but we will have a feed consult program, and we are going to charge for it. It's like $39, and it's going to be listed on our site. And for that fee, you will get a 1-hour Zoom session with me and Lexi, and you actually get to talk about your horses, what you're looking to achieve with your horses, and she will make personal recommendations based on what feed would be best for them. And then we'll have like a discount code for that. So you'll be able to book that straight off our website, and it was what I got, and she'll be able to go through all of the details with you. So it's a really good thing. The next thing is, they do have, for everybody who's wondering, they're out in the U.S., but they do have treats. She's going to be sending them when they come back in stock, but these are their treats. They're called Smoochies, so they're in the shape of a heart. So they're going to send us some horse treats for us to feed on our treat days. So yeah. Lexi, do you want to leave? I know you got to get going so you can get ready for your dinner tonight, but we have a lot more stuff we're going to announce here. But yeah.
I feel bad because I know everybody's been asking a million questions. I will literally stay on for like 8 more minutes and answer questions because I see them rolling through, and there's been some really good ones, but I keep missing them.
Okay, so one of the ones I've seen a lot, what's some of the stuff that's allowed in the U.S. that's not in your food that's, like, they keep like, what that's not allowed in Australia, or what you guys put in there? Like, what's an ingredient that, can you give us an example?
I don't really want to say, like, the first thing that came to mind when you said what's allowed in the US and what's not allowed in Australia, cocaine. That's a huge thing. On the track especially. One thing that the US does that's pretty standard that we don't do in Hygain is the level of molasses that's in the grain. So I'm sure you can vouch for this, Stephen, but like when you open up a bag of Hygain, it's very loose. It's not like, Purina Omeline is one of the biggest textured feeds ever. And I'm not here to bash Purina Omeline. I'm just, when you have Purina Omeline in your barn and it's wintertime, it turns into a brick. And a lot of people expect that of our textured feeds, and our feeds just don't do that because the, molasses, our feeds aren't super sticky. They don't leave like a residue on your hands. When you scoop a hand into a bag like Grow Torque, I mean, you guys can see the bag behind him. It's literally sagging on the couch, and that's a textured feed. So it's just not what you would typically say or see. There's a question, is it available in Canada? Unfortunately, it is not quite available in Canada yet. I do have a bunch of barrel racers that are in Canada right now that are scrambling to get feed, and that is something that I am in the process of working on. So another question that I saw come through a couple times is the price point. When you look at Highgain's website and you look at our price point is pretty high compared to what you would normally see. Like Show Torque and Munga and Grow Torque, those are our three most popular feeds. Grow Torque is $39 a bag, Show Torque is $42, and Munga is $43. And people look at that price and they balk. When you're feeding any other feed, if you're hitting those recommended amounts, you're going to be buying, 2 or 3 times the number of bags of feed that you would buy of Highgain. So I really, when I talk to customers, I like to break it down, price per day. So when I break down price per day, 9 times out of 10, we're going to come in a lot lower than what you would typically be paying of something else. We're anywhere from 90 cents to $1.50 a day, depending on how much you're feeding and which product that you're on. Somebody just said you get what you pay for. It is true. But when you break it down price per day and how many pounds you're feeding per day, that is a big difference. As far as the customers that are feeding 8 pounds a day.
Right. We're feeding Sparrow less of this. So you have to think Lexi originally sent us so many bags of the True Gain for Sparrow and our older horses. And we have so much it's taking us so long to get through this that she's not needed to send us anymore because we just don't feed as much. Like Sparrow put all this, she looks fantastic with less food. So I don't know if that makes sense.
And that's something that I always try to hammer home with people because people will be like, oh my gosh, they go on the website and they see it's $40 something a bag and they're like, that's just, astronomically higher than what I'm used to paying. In the grand scheme of things, when you break it down, feeding rates and all that, there's a lot more that goes into it than just I'm going out to the feed store and I'm paying $40 something a bag for feed. It's, if your horse is going through 4 or 5 bags a month and you switch to Highgain, they're probably only going to go through a bag and a half to 2 bags a month. So it's just a lot lower feeding rate. And then I know a lot of people were asking where to get it. So depending on your location, we do have representatives everywhere. Obviously Steven and I are going to work together on a lot of them. Michelle, I need less vet bills too. That would be really nice. We do sell on Chewy. You can also buy off the Highgain website. If you buy off the Highgain website, because we don't encourage people to buy off our website because we just don't have the manpower to be packing feed in bags, we like to send people to Chewy if we can, if they're just ordering a couple bags at a time. So we do charge shipping per bag on our website. If Chewy is out of something, then the shipping on our website is free. And that's usually how we try to keep up with that the best that we can. Our reps can also direct ship feed, and then we also have retailers set up. If you don't have a retailer close to you, if it's a conversation that you want to have and you want to have a retailer close to you, more than happy to have that conversation, whether it's with me or with the rep that's closest to you, we can do that too. Our team is really, really great. We don't have a huge team, and that's the other thing that I will say. Steven probably appreciated the accessibility that you have. A lot of times with some of these bigger brands, you don't get to just call your feed rep and say, hey, my horse isn't eating this. What do I do? They're not really accessible. Our team is very, very accessible and we're very small. So, Bailey, yes, we are only in independent retailers at the moment. We technically NRS, they have a website, so I don't know if you would call them an independent retailer, but they technically are, but we're not in Atwoods or Tractor Supply. My boss kind of framed it up to me as if we put our feed in Tractor Supply, it's like putting Rolex in Walmart. You just wouldn't do it. And the other issue that we kind of have with that is it's hard to make sure that Tractor Supply is staying stocked. If I'm getting individual orders from an individual retailer every single week, and I can kind of keep track of what they have and what they don't have and why they don't have it. With Tractor Supply, they're going to have everything shipped to one facility and then they're going to disperse it out to all their locations. And so it makes it really challenging for us to just keep track of stuff and make sure that you guys have access to it. So We are not on Amazon, but if you order 2 bags off of Chewy, you get free shipping and it ships straight to your door. So I know it's weird
I
to have
think
horse feed on
Chewy's,
Chewy.
I think Chewy's
Do
cheaper
what?
than your website.
So Chewy's allowed to, because they have the auto ship option, if you sign up for auto ship, it is cheaper.
Okay.
But we do have map pricing, so I don't want anybody to sit there and think like, oh, if I do this and like manipulate the system, it will be cheaper for me. I will say the cheapest way to get feed, if you're like really serious about switching, obviously the number of horses that you have is a big piece of it too, but the best way to get feed is to go through your rep. One, because that's going to give you, accessibility to that person. And I get calls at 3 o'clock in the morning and it drives me crazy, but I do it. But it just kind of gives you the accessibility to have those one-on-one conversations and figure out, what's going to work best for you. But then two, they can ship you feed if you're in a pinch and you need feed and like we love working with everybody. So.
How long would one feed last if they had 4 horses? That's kind of like a tough question, right? It just depends on your horses, what
Yeah.
you have.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, on average, what would you say you're feeding? Let's say 3 pounds per day per horse, and these are 50-pound bags, right? So is that a good
44. They're 44 pounds. Yeah, that's the other
40?
weird thing. A lot of people are weirded out by the fact that we have 44-pound bags. It's an Australian thing. Sorry, I can't change that. But yeah, so usually, I usually say estimate 2 bags per month per horse. So if you have 4 horses, you're looking at about 8 bags. Obviously, if your horses are in a rough spot and they need to improve body condition, and there's a lot of things that are playing a factor. I have customers that are actively in the performance game and showing their horses all over the United States in at the highest levels, and they're feeding a pound of feed a day. So obviously that's a big difference. Dana asks which food's good for underweight horses. That's a great question for that thing that Steven was asking you to go sign up for, just to get that individual consult. There's a lot that goes into play for what feed goes best for what horses. There's a million questions that I could ask you right now, like, is it a top line issue? Is it a shoulder issue? Is it a hip issue? Is it a rib cover issue? Is it an underline? Do they not look full, or they're not blooming? Like, what is it about your horse that you think looks bad? That's the first place to start.
Right. Well, yeah,
But yeah, and
so I would go in there and be like, hey, book the feed consult. And there's
yeah,
samples that we're going to be able to, like, a lot of stuff we're going to do in that feed consult. We'll be able to send you stuff. One of the big things that we're going to be announcing, and since she's on the line, if you buy a horse from Hot Mess Ranch, you're going to get a high gain package. So we're going to cover your feed for, I think we're going to do it for a month. So that as your horse transitions to you, you can see, is this the kind of feed that I want to do? Or it gives you enough feed that if you do want to move on to a different feed, you can transition your horse off of the high gain since they're at our ranch. So, and you'll get a free consult for us. And so that's going to go for, I'm going to back that up, and that's going to go for anybody who's bought a horse from us. So that goes back to Texas with Argento, Michelle with Raven, and Bugsy. That's going to go to Jane. I'm happy to have a consult with Jane on Jersey Midnight, right? So Perline's going to get that with Apollo. So anybody who's gotten one of our horses, they're going to get that free consult. We're going to give them a high gain package. So that's a pretty big deal. And if you haven't bought a horse from us, we wanted to make it a price to where we didn't have just a whole bunch of people signing up for a consult just because. So that's the only reason we really put a fee on it. So that's $39. And that just covers the Zoom call for an hour with us and Lexi. And we're going to do the same thing for you guys, where, we're going to talk to you about the program and see what you want to do. So you'll get some stuff out of your consult. So you're paying for that, but you also get some stuff from your consultation. So
right. Yeah. And the big thing for for us at High Gain and me personally is like this is something that Steven's also taking a lot of time out of his day to set up, and this is something that this was like, hey, can we do this? Like obviously, like once you start talking to people, like the creative juices just start flowing. And so, like, yes, you're going to walk away with a lot of knowledge about the feed. This is also going to really help benefit the ranch and, like, everything that they're trying to do there. But I don't want you to think, like, it's a one and done thing where, like, oh, my gosh, like, I have an hour to ask all these questions. Like, you'll have full access to me long term and permanently if you're in my territory, or I can pass you off to somebody that's more local to you. And I don't want you guys to think that like, oh, I'm paying for this consult and then I have to go spend all this money on feed on top of that. Like, we're going to make sure that we work out all those details and take care of you guys too. So that'll be on the High Gain end. Obviously, like Steven's not going to be paying to feed y'all's horses, but we'll just make sure that you guys are getting, y'all are going to get a really good benefit out of it. But I do want to make sure that you guys know, like, this is also going back to helping out the ranch because this was Steven's idea.
Her
taking time out of
territory,
his day and everything.
her territory is
What'd you say?
but we will absolutely put you together with someone locally, or you'll be able to buy off the website. One of the questions was, do they have supplements? We only got about 60 seconds left with Lexi. So, yes, they supplements. This is the weight gain supplement that we have we have everybody here on because we had low fat in the forage. So that's what's helped out there.
Right. Yeah. We have a whole supplement line. I will say, like, I'm a firm believer in, like, not every horse needs to be on supplements. The supplement line is very, very targeted. If you have a targeted issue with your horses, more than happy to talk about supplements, obviously. But I don't think it's a need. I think the first place to start is, one, your forage, and then two, your feed. So that's what we did here, and, that's what's been working for us. And then my territory, Texas, Oklahoma, I cover Nebraska, Kansas, Michigan, I have Louisiana, part of Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, kind of a little bit of New Mexico, but we kind of like, I don't travel to all those places, so you're not going to see me at all those places. I cover Arkansas, Missouri, but, if it's not me, I can promise you it's either someone cooler than me or just as cool, so, you guys are going to be let down. But if you do the consult with Steven, obviously y'all are going to get me first. So I know I saw another comment about somebody saying something about how they reached out to us on social media, like on the High Gain pages. We do have a marketing person that oversees all of that. If she hasn't gotten back to you yet, I'm so sorry. Your message might have gotten lost. Please feel free to send another one through, or you can, get with Steven and coordinate that way, and we'll make sure that you guys are taken care of. So,
for sure. Yeah. All right, Lex. Thank you so much, and you'll be seeing more of Lexi, and I'll tell you why in just a minute as we have other things to talk about.
Okay. All right. I'll be in the background, but I gotta go get ready for dinner, so I'll be watching.
Okay.
Okay. Y'all have a great night.
Do you know how to end?
I have no earthly clue.
It's on somewhere.
Disconnect. I think I just hit disconnect, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh.
No. Yeah, there it went. Okay, so Kayla's here. Kayla, I'm going to catch you up real quick because you benefit from this entire program. Since you are getting Reba and Rowdy. Wait, am I still frozen? Kathy Scott says I'm frozen. Are we frozen? Not frozen. Kathy, can you see us? No? No? Okay. Not frozen. Want to make sure Kathy's back. Okay, good. Okay, so Kayla, who's getting Reba and Rowdy, we have announced High Gain Feed as part of our food sponsor, and part of getting a horse from Hot Mess Ranch is, Kayla, you're going to get a free consultation with Hot Mess Ranch and Lexi at High Gain Feeds, and we're going to talk about why Rowdy and Reba are on the feed that they're on, and you're going to get a free month of High Gain Feeds. And then in that free month, Kayla, you're actually going to be able to decide whether you want to stay on High Gain or you can use your free month of feed to transition them to your new feed. So, Kayla, we'll talk about that. We're going to get you set up here pretty soon since Rowdy and Reba are supposed to ship out next weekend. Kayla, we need to get that set up this week so that we can get you scheduled and get the feed sent out to you for your for your first month. And that's going to back up. Jane's going to get that. Texas is going to get this option. Anybody who's ever bought some feed from us. Also going live on the website after this is a way to actually schedule a consultation with us. And I've talked to Perline. She's aware. But we're going to get you can buy a consultation with us to sit down and talk with Lexi and us about the high gain feed program. All right, without further ado, let's get on to some of the next biggest announcements that we've been working on, and all of this stuff that is for. Or am I going to distribute? No, we're not a distributor. We're like a ambassador for the program, and they're working on getting a like creator code for us for this. So here's the next big announcement as we're going through this. We can kind of answer some more feed questions here in a minute. This next thing I'm super excited about. We've been working crazy hard on this in the back end. I think you guys, it's going to blow your mind. You don't see this coming. There's no way any of you are even going to guess what I'm about to say. So here we go. I am announcing here today, and I've got logos were made for this, but I had to print these off. And again, this is going to go live on the site after this is done. But here today, for the first time ever, we are announcing Team Hot Mess Ranch. Powered by High Gain Feeds. What does that mean? We will actually have a team of people representing Hot Mess Ranch at events. And these are things you guys will get to see and watch for free and participate in over the next forever. Like, this is something we're going to be doing. We're going to get this out on the website. Let me talk a little bit about what that means. We will have two different types of people that will be on Hot Mess Ranch's team. Some barrel racers and probably some roping, team ropers, and we'll be looking for several different types of programs. And the big part about this announcement that you guys are going to absolutely go nuts over is, why did we not breed back Talia? And some people noticed in the background one day of one of my videos, the reason we didn't breed back Talia is because Talia is in training to be a barrel racing Pony of America mare. And who best to ride her? Lily! Lily is going to be riding Talia in barrel racing as she starts training for it. Yes, she will be super slow as she gets started. It'll be going just at a little bit, a slow pace. But you guys are going to get to go see Lily at races and do barrel racing on Talia. So that's right. That's why we didn't breed back Talia, is because we wanted to be able to have her go out and have a whole lot of fun racing on Talia. So you've been practicing lately on doing basic stuff. Yeah. Yep. And then pretty soon she's going to start practicing going around the pattern, right? And she's doing really, really, really good. And I had to make sure she was like going to be into this. So she was using Mallory's like really cheap canvas saddle, which is pretty terrible. And so we're going to need to go find Lily a saddle her size. That's a barrel racing saddle that'll fit Talia and Lily to be able to do that. And so that is one of the big reasons. The other reason, and since thank you, Lexi, and since she did not breed this year, we are actually going to be sending Ember in for training for racing, and one of the jockeys that we find for Hot Mess Ranch to be on Team HMR will actually run Ember. And I know you guys will be crazy. Like, I'm about to start rolling through some stuff and just keep blowing you away. There's like several more things we're talking about here. Ember will be going in and racing as well. And so that's going to be super fun because a lot of y'all really, really love Ember. I know, y'all's minds are blown. I know, your minds are blown right now. And that's not even all of it. So we're going to keep talking about this. So she's gonna train. The other thing around this is you saw the first logo for Team Hot Mess Ranch. So let me show you this one. So this is the first logo for Team Hot Mess Ranch, powered by High Gain. Now the other one, here is another one. So we have two. So this will be mainly for our barrel racers, right? And then for our roping jockeys, the other Hot Mess Ranch logo is this one. As you can see, it's the rope. And I'd like to thank Emily, who is Weird Garden Nerd in here. She designed all of the logos for Team Hot Mess Ranch. And going live on the website after this, we have already queued up Team Hot Mess Ranch merch. And we made versions of t-shirts. We tried to pick one that was super, super low cost, like starting around $9. And I know they still charge freaking $10 to ship, but whatever. So we tried to get a shirt that was like $9 or $10 that's got the logo on it. So we're trying to hit all price ranges for people to be able to pick stuff up. There's like water bottles on there. There's shirts. There's sleeveless shirts. There's all kinds of different Hot Mess Ranch shirts for Team Hot Mess Ranch. And those are going to go live right after this. And why is that going to be important to wear those? Because not only are we finding jockeys to ride those, but the next big announcement that I'm about to give you, and this is probably even a bigger drum roll that we're having right now. Annie's doing the drum roll. Another huge thing. The drum roll just went out from Annie. This weekend, next weekend, we will be sponsoring a barrel race here in Texas, in Greenville. We will have our banner at the race. Hot Mess Ranch is to advertise Hot Mess Ranch's our High Gain Feed sponsorship will be on their login app. So when you have to register for the thing. Oh no.
We're frozen.
No. It's on. Don't freeze. Am I back?
Yeah.
Don't freeze.
Are we back?
Back for me. Okay, other people say too.
Okay, we're back. Okay, so we're going to be sponsoring one of the barrel race next weekend. It's also a season, so we're actually going to be there the whole season for this race. It happens the last weekend of every month. Team Hot Mess Ranch. They are targeting a racer. Thanks for that. Wow, that train's awesome. They are they are identifying a racer at that race that we're going to be able to sponsor. Not a racer that's full of cash, right? Not somebody who's flush with tons of cash and has no problems with it, but a racer that might be new into the sport, that up and coming, that we can actually partner with High Gain Feeds and Hot Mess Ranch, and we're going to be able to sponsor them and their feed bill why they're a Team Hot Mess Ranch representative and a jockey. And so it's going to be a really great thing for them, and it just, a super great up-and-comer. We are looking for somebody that's going to be running this series, and we'll post all about the series coming up, and lots of background work to do this week. We've got banners that we're getting out. We've got stuff that we're going to be putting on their website. We've got stuff that we're going to be doing in their registration area. And so just so much freaking awesomeness that we're going to be able to do. And this is all thanks to Donk Nation. You guys have enabled the ranch to get to where the level it is. And there's a lot of people who say, you're not able to, buy a treat on treat day. You're not able to do. Listen, you being in these lives, liking lives, showing that we have engagement. This is what enabled this for Hot Mess Ranch, and getting out there and going and sponsoring these programs and doing these races is all for this, and it's for you. We're going to be there streaming live. I think they're even going to let us by the booth where they're actually doing announcing. And so we should have a nice front row seat to the race, and you guys will get to watch all the race. And it's going to be free right here on our TikTok live that you guys can watch and slam down some likes on the live and just participate in having fun and cheer on, our Team Hot Mess Ranch jockeys. And that's it. Like, that's all you got to, it's just for you. That's all you got to do is just have a whole bunch of fun and do stuff. So I wanted to do this. This is something that I thought for a really long time. How can I give back to the community? And so literally anyone can participate. And this is what we came up with. So I really hope you guys are going to be able to enjoy this. We are so excited to have High Gain on board with Hot Mess Ranch. I'm super passionate about feed, as you guys have seen. Lexi and I, we nerd out all the time over the science behind the food and etc. Oh, Lily went and got her baby kitty. So yeah, I mean, this is it still freezing?
What's the matter? What is a matter?
Am I needing seasoned barrel races from different states to league with? We may get to that point. Right now, we're looking for somebody local. We're looking for. We want to sponsor a junior, and we want to sponsor an adult. So we not only will we have an adult racer, but we also want to have a junior racer. We like to see the up and comers, right? The lilies of the world who are getting started, and so that's what we want to do. And our big thing with this coming up is it's not about winning at this point. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not ever, but it's not about winning those races. It's about the fun. It's about the excitement of it. And it's about helping some racers who are getting started and doing stuff. So that's what we want to do. Kind of a pay it forward, right? For these races. What's the cost of admission? $0. So that's something I want to tell you guys, that if you are in the area to actually come to the barrel races, they're free to get into.
My favorite color is rose gold.
So there is no cost to attend, and there is no cost to watch online.
I'm 11.
What will the racers get for their HMR sponsorship, and will we shenanigan for that? Tiff, that's the amazing thing. You don't shenanigan for anything. They get supplied feed. And that's part of the sponsorship. We pay their entry fees and stuff like that. A lot of that kind of stuff comes out of our operational fund, which is what our treat day money pays for. And then, we have a contract with the racers. So if they do win money, then there's percentages of that come back to the ranch and et cetera. We're reimbursed for some, entry fees and et cetera, based on if they bring a check home or that kind of stuff.
How is doing gymnastics an advantage?
Flexibility and strength in your core.
Oh, you need flexibility in your core? Strength
Are all the
in your
races in
core?
Greenville? For this one, yes, Texas. Right now, we've found one series to sponsor, and it's in Greenville. We're starting super small, and we're partnering with this one race to kind of get going. You're coming to our race today?
I'm going to need a lot of that barrel racing merch.
Team Lily, love that. There you go. Happy Father's Day. Thank you so much. So that was a lot of announcements. All this stuff's going to go live on the website here right after that. And so High Gain's our feed sponsor. We're going to have Team Hot Mess Ranch, and we have merch coming out for that. We're going to sponsor some racers. We're going to sponsor an entire barrel racing series here in North Texas. And yes, right after this, we're going to go see our new mayors.
Who makes merch for us again? Who makes all this merch?
Just a site we use.
No, which mods?
Oh, Emily and Cake make our merch.
Emily and Cake. We need some cake merch.
How long does it run? It runs through like October. So we've got like 4 or 5 months for our very first kind of run here. So the idea is to learn. We want to learn what works best. We want to learn what doesn't work through this first sponsorship. This series doesn't really have a lot of sponsors, so I've been working with the person who runs the series, and she's really open to anything. And so we're just doing a whole lot of guessing on what's going to be the best way to sponsor this shit. So.
Yes, this is a new kitten. His name is King Sunshine IV.
That's convenient. I know. Works out really well. So let's go. So we're gonna go get this wrapped up. We're gonna go see our 2 mares that we got last night, really quickly, and then that's gonna wrap the live for today. Because as soon as I hit end on this live, we're gonna go make all this stuff. We're gonna open all this stuff on the website. Cake and Emily will be pushing the Team Hot Mess Ranch merch out to the website. I'm going to get all the feed stuff and information out on the website. The consultation that you can sign up for is there, etc. And if all of the people, all of you guys out there, I saw Jane and etc., if you can email me or message me so that we can get you guys set up. Texas, I need to talk to the governor. She gets one too, although I think she's already had her consultation with Lexi. But we get you guys all set up on your on your consultation. So, Kayla, we need to get you set up this week.
Wait, what's Team Lily?
They're just talking about you racing.
Oh.
All right. Yep. So let's do this. Let's go meet some mares. So last night, Donk Nation came in hot last night. On that we like to. I went thinking we were going to pick up our next Apollo and Jersey Midnight gelding, but we ended up picking our next Apollo Jersey Midnight, but they weren't geldings. They were mares, which is still okay. So plans changed, and we got 2 great mares. Let me switch Wi-Fi's. Okay, let me know when I'm back. All right, let me know. Am I back? Back. Okay, cool. So let's go meet our new mares, and then we'll get all of our new announcement stuff put up on the website. Are you guys pumped for Team Hot Mess Ranch? Because I am. Like, there's... Freya, why are you standing on the car?
Oh, yeah, she does that a lot.
Excuse me?
She's on your car.
Beyond pumped. I am too. Get down off the car. Hey, this is not a jingle gym. Get down off the car. Come on. Come on, get off the car. Come on, get down. Don't scratch the car. Get down. Get down off the car. Jump down. You can jump. You jump down off stuff way higher than this. That's what I thought. Oh my word. That's why Matt won't let me have goats right there. Y'all, we gotta get you and I gotta do at some point. I gotta get Annie a truck. Let me show you what happens here. My wife constantly goes around doing all her stuff. It's full of hay in the back. She puts all kinds of stuff back here for her.
Why are you showing them my car?
Because you need a truck badly. You need a truck badly. We're going to be getting Annie a truck at some point. Okay? That's what we're going to do. We'll go trade it in for like a Ranger or one of those. She doesn't need a big truck, but she needs just like a small truck that she can go do stuff. Okay, let's meet our mares, y'all. Okay, let me switch to the Wi-Fi at the house. 1 second. Okay. So here's our mares we got last night, everybody. The first one is Anastasia. They say that she's a bay, but she's not a bay. She is a dark, sooty buckskin. Anastasia goes back to Peppy Sand Badger on her bottom side. She recently had a baby pulled from her. And so she is 17 years old. And she is a sweetheart. Hi, how are you? She got some goopy in her eyes, but we'll get that looked at. Her feet are terrible, but we'll get that fixed. So this week she'll get the works. She's got a freaking horsefly on her. Trying to kill the horsefly. Sorry, Anastasia. I'm just trying to kill a horsefly on you. Anyways, so she's gorgeous. She's a big old squishy love bug. Annie said she came out here earlier and she just loved all over her. Will they pregnancy check both? Probably, but she shouldn't have been bred. She was not exposed or with any stallions, they said. So, but yeah, she's a sweetie. And then the one that I said I would never get is another paint. I was told this was a hat. What kind of hat paint? Medicine hat paint. So this is Betty. They named her Blue-Eyed Betty last night. And she has 2 blue eyes, and she is gorgeous. I've just had bad luck with paints. Her feet are also terrible. Are you going to back your butt up into me? Jimmy, scratch it? Yeah. She's all about the attention. But she's gorgeous. They both love the attention. She got a good top line. She's got a good top line to her. She also has a good top line to her. She could use a little bit more up here, but we're going to be switching her to high gain in our new feed program. So she'll get onto our new feed program. We'll fill her out here. But if she did have a baby pulled from her, right, the baby will pull them down a little bit. Is she pregnant? She shouldn't be pregnant. It is summertime, so they sometimes get kind of a grass belly. So I'm not really sure. This freaking horsefly. Got it. Sorry I had to smack you on the butt, but I did kill the horsefly. I mean, we'll palpate her if she thinks she might be pregnant, but you can see she's definitely skinnier in the butt. The thing I worry about Betty a little more is Betty's been through the auction circuit. You see how she doesn't have any hair up here? See this? That means she's had glue stickers on for a long, long time. So it's even over here. Yeah. So she's had a lot of glue. She's been in a lot of auctions. There's no telling how long she's been in the auction circuit. When you see stuff like that, she's been in the auction circuit for a while. So she's super sweet. She rides fine. You can also see on her nose where she's had a halter left on too long. You see the indent in her nose. So she hasn't had the best time over her recent. You can see the dent. You see the dent in her nose where the halter's left on too long. So Betty hasn't had the best ride, but now she's landed with HMR, and somebody is going to find their heart horse here at HMR. 2 heart horses. And we will find her heart home. Isn't that right, Betty? Somebody in Donk Nation is going to say, you are my heart horse. I love you. Come live with me for the rest of your life. I will love you. I will smooch you. I will hug you. I will give you all the treats, and I will boop your snoot. Yeah. That's what's going to happen, Daddy. She just doesn't even know it yet. So somebody's going to get her. But first, we're going to give them the works this week. They get the veterinarian workups. We haven't tried to give them any treats yet, but they're going to go get their feet, and they're going to go get fully checked out, and we'll get images of their joints to make sure they're good. We do think that I hit that dadgum horse fly and it flew away, but I didn't want to smack her in the face. We do think that Anastasia was a little bit soft in her front, but she was a barrel horse and a roping horse, and she's 17, so that's not uncommon. Definitely not as soft, I think, as Apollo was in the front. So we're just going to go ahead and get her X-rayed just to see kind of what we're working with. But I mean, you guys know I over vet, so but that's the way we roll. So we're gonna go get her checked out, and if she needs some injections to feel better and all that kind of stuff, then that's what we're gonna do. But we'll fully take care of her. I guarantee you she'll be feeling better before she leaves here. They said that she was 7, but there's no way she's 7. I think she's like mid-teens. I think she's probably 15, 14.
She's back up on the car already.
Freya, why are you being a naughty girl? Come on, Freya. Come on, you two naughty babies. No, get in here. Quit standing on the car. We don't want you on the car. Don't be a naughty girl. You're sweet, Freya. Look at that nose. Look at that Freya face. I love his Freya face. I do. Sure. We're gonna leave him. We're gonna leave these two up at the house for a couple of days, just to kind of get to know them and hang out. The horses, our main herd is across the house pasture. Like they cannot get to each other, so they can't touch noses or anything. So the horses are out there. Our horse herd is out there, so they're going to stay quarantined in the backyard as we kind of meet and greet, and then they will move to the front pasture. Probably later this week. But I just kind of want to get to know them a little bit instead of putting them in the front pasture for a while. So Mallory's already given lots of hugs to these two, and they definitely take hugs. So yeah. Could they possibly have been on the same ranch at one point? I mean, could they? Sure. Is it probably not? I mean, if they've been auctioned for a bit, I don't see glue on her tail. I don't think she's been auctioned. I think she just came. I think she's been a broodmare for a long time at the same ranch, and I think she just got old and they sold her.
Oh.
I mean, there's a chance she might have come back open this year and didn't take, and they just said it was time to be done. Well, that old glue just eats it up. Now see how the skin is like this? Yeah. She may have been at a few auctions. Yeah, she's okay. Well.
Oh, she likes to scratch there. Oh.
All right, yeah, she's been passed. See this glue? This glue is thicker than just last night. That's why they stuck the sticker right here, because she's had multiple auctions. So they just put that sticker on top of where they had her before.
Oh my goodness.
This is not even the same paper.
Oh, pointy nail.
Yep, she's been in the auction circuit too. Dadgummit. Freaking people.
Dad, why'd you stop scratching this pointy nail?
Will her hair grow back? Yes. Yeah, what we'll do is we can trim this and we'll get all that glue out of there. That hair will all grow back. We're gonna find them their forever home, y'all. And her hair will grow back too. We just gotta get all this mess off here.
Oh my goodness.
So.
Oh my goodness. Dad, is there a pointy
lip? Yep, it's a big pointy lip.
Oh my goodness.
Y'all, somebody's about to get some sweetheart horses.
Oh my word. Oh. Is the glue itchy?
Why was she more expensive than the paint? Because she's registered.
Oh my goodness.
Her breeding got her more expensive.
Oh, does that feel good? Oh my goodness.
You're feeling that they're your heart horses? Price? I don't have a price yet.
Woo!
We'll assess price soon, but I don't have a price yet.
Does that feel good?
They'll be more budget though.
Oh.
They'll be over 5 each, but I don't know what their final number is going to be. Because we put a lot into them.
Oh, did you get blue?
I mean, when you get a horse from us, they're completely vetted, right? You get X-rays all around. They've had their teeth done, like they'll have all their teeth done. They'll have all their feet done. They'll have all their vaccines. We'll have put them back together over several weeks, right? I mean, like when we pump a lot into our horses that we find homes for, and you guys know, a lot of y'all know that. If you're new and you haven't seen us and what we do, I think I'm going to have a new program. I may reach out to some of our former Heart Horse people like Jane and Michelle with Bugsy, Perline with Apollo, Texas with Argento, and maybe do some videos and get feedback on what, from when we got the horses and what they've experienced with the horses that they got. Because, what's it like having a Hot Mess Ranch horse? I mean, like Midnight Jersey Midnight, like he came to us and he didn't really like anybody, and now Jane's got her forever boy, right? And so, like, what was it like getting him? What's it like, warming up to him? That kind of stuff. The best thing ever. But yeah.
You two need your feet done.
Yeah, we'll get them done this week, baby. So, Reba and Rowdy, then and now, ridiculously amazing. Yeah. Argento, the Treat King. Yep. So, we really do try to find them the right place because we really want them to go to somebody forever. Like, we really want to find them their, especially an older horse. Like, she's 17. She rides great. She's super smart. She's super sweet. But, somebody's got to understand they're getting a 17-year-old horse. And it needs... Oh, well, okay. Apparently, she's really calm. Lily, that was brave of you.
This is Mallory.
Yes, Katie, we wash our hands. You don't go. How about once a week you do meet some HMR owners? That kind of sounds fun. Some people don't like being on video, but we could talk to everybody. Mallory, don't be too much. She did just still meet you. Yeah, this is Mallory. Oh, I'm sorry. I said Lily. Sorry about that. I mean,
yeah, I feel like you gave Lily the credit for what I just did.
Sorry, it's Mallory.
Yeah.
You could do it at the stable. That'd be cool. Mallory's not really a big horse rider. She's just not. She doesn't really have any interest in barrel racing or doing anything. Like she rides Talia a little bit, but like this, Mallory's a horse taker care of her person. Like Mallory is like super into like feeding them and taking care of them and making sure they're healthy and making sure they're like well maintained. She does things like this. She'll pick their feet up or try to. Well,
why are you so difficult?
Mallory's more of a hugger than a rider. That's true. Oh, there she goes. She got that one.
That was dramatic.
So Mallory does this kind of stuff, right? Like this is just her. This is her jam.
Yeah.
So yeah. Does Mallory like to brush and bathe them? She will, but I have to be like, Mallory, go bathe the horse, and she's like, bleh, 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 bleh.
Well, the thing is, I have to just hold the horse because I can't like.
Well, we have the cross ties now, so like she can do it better. Mallory does desensitize them for sure. Yeah. She gets as wild as she can possibly get.
I'm always wild.
But guys, I would like to thank everybody for everything that you have done for this ranch. If you're new here, thank you. Thank you for coming and joining this community. Thank you for liking the page and following along and watching our lives. If you've been here for 2 years, thank you. Thank you for being here this long and hanging out. If you've donated to treat drives and saving horses from the auction circuits, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing those lives when we're at those circuits. Thank you for smashing that like button. Thank you for literally everything everybody has ever done for Hot Mess Ranch. You have made this possible for us to have our first sponsor. You've made this possible for us to go have Team HMR. And Team HMR is my way to give back to you as a community. I want you guys to have fun with it. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to be able to have somebody to cheer on. And that's what it's all about. No more news on Megan Scooter yet. There's still won't get that until midweek. This is for y'all. I want you to seriously just have all the fun you can possibly have. HMR Cookbook is still in the works, from what I understand. So we're still gathering recipes and stuff. There's just been a lot of other stuff going on. Thank you for we hit our number again yesterday on Meet and Treat Day. That was awesome. You guys brought home 2 amazing mares that we're going to find forever homes for. And the idea was that we'll utilize these kinds of things to once we find them their forever home, then we'll take that dollar that you've invested in the ranch for these girls, and we'll use that money to buy the next great mare that we want to bring. And we have a big sale that we're looking to attend at the end of July. So we're going to target some stuff at one of those sales. And so that way we can kind of double what your investment was. So those kinds of things. But yeah. And in the meantime, we're going to find 2 great horses their forever home. And it's a win-win all around. So we'll get a fantastic mare for the ranch, and we'll get these 2 horses an amazing home, right? So that's freaking awesome. Where's the sale? Maybe I can come. It's actually at the Fort Worth Stock Shows at the end of July. So lots of stuff happening. Guys, thank you. Thank you, everybody. It's amazing. If you found us last night just in the sale live, welcome. This is a great, fun place to be. And they settled in great. We have a great community, and it's just a great bunch of people. And new merch. Yes, new merch. Keep us posted on the barrel race. Yes, I'm going to be working on that this week with the promoter, and I'll let you know how it goes. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and head out because I'm going to head over here to my computer, and I'm going to hit publish on everything. And Kate and Emily will be in the background pushing out the new merchandise for Team Hot Mess Ranch. And I'll put a filter on there so that you can just select that when you filter products, and you can hit Team Hot Mess Ranch, and you can find all of that great, cool stuff. So it's going up, and here, give me about 10 minutes to go over here and get it all up, but it'll all be on the website. So proud of HMR. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. I will see everybody this week. The next live will be on Thursday. And then most of our weekend lives will be at our race, y'all. So we're going to be doing lives from the race this weekend. See ya. Have a great evening.